Hello everyone and welcome to the 2025 Samui Swine Classic number 12. This year's event brought to us by our friends at Latitude 64. As they're our presenting sponsor, we've got Philo Brathwaite, along with last year's champion at this event, Shasta Criss, Yarno, aka Japi, we're going to call him that throughout the event, and Vetne, a Thai national, highest rated one at that. This is round one, all 22 holes. You've been here before. It's an 11-hole course that we play twice through. I'm giving you all 22 holes in a single video. And we start off on one of the shortest and easiest, just 44 meters, barely shy of 150 feet. Triple Mando, and all the pressure is on getting the birdie here. You really feel like you've done something wrong if you take a par. This jumper by one Philo Brathwaite. Philo's won this event 4 times. Last year, who got in his way? This man, Shasta Criss, taking down his first ever in the MPO division, that is. The year before, I think he won it in Masters. Japi out of Finland. And T, just a nice little standstill as he comes into the event with a 992 rating. The wildlife is out and about. You're going to hear that throughout the entire weekend of coverage. Sounds like we're at a zoo. Just off and to the right at about the 2 o'clock position is where hole number 3's basket is. And that's, of course, where we have the angry goose more often than not. Should I say protective? That's a better word. Protective and aggressive. And a star frame to open. .269 with a Mando pushing to the right of that tree where you see the arrow there. You've got OB on the right-hand side. Then you also have OB on the left and deep of the pin. All of that OB can come into play with any errant shot or a bad kick. If you've got the forehand, it is certainly the most practical way to get all the way to the pin and park it. Put it on a little flex, have it work back, and that should give them a look. As you can see the white band there, just peeking through. I'm not a forehand guy, but I'm going to go ahead and say I think this is the single most difficult birdie to get on the course. And it's going to be a lot tougher with that. Actually, you see one's basket just to the right there. T trying to make up for it, and that should give him something of a look. And after going out of bounds, there's not a lot to work with on this right side. That's the beauty of these short holes, though. Even if you hit early, getting up and down typically isn't that difficult to save the par. And sometimes you're even still putting for birdie. This is T for his par. With the penalty stroke, we'll see Japi take the bogey. And Shasta's just hanging out, waiting for his turn. A rough go here on hole 2. We play 1 through 11, and then essentially 12 through 22 will be the next 11 holes. So that we kind of just keep the whole thing rolling in that sense. And after it's all said and done, Shasta is able to put in for the birdie. A little score separation on hole number 2. Shasta goes to 2 under. Hole 3, just shy of 200 feet. Got to steer clear of all these trees. You can go either straight or play it off to the right, but then you have to find an island green. And you see that the OB comes up very close, directly behind the basket and to the right. Any disc that doesn't finish on the island green goes to those 2 coconuts that you see on the right side, and that's exactly where Shasta is going to go, to the drop zone. It's fair to say almost anything on the island gives you a look for the birdie putt. That looks a little firm, but it's going to check up. That'll be safe and should be parked. This doesn't happen at your local course? Just a food cart rolling through? So much to be said about the hard work, the dedication, the long commitments, the hours by so many of the vendors. I know a few vendors that put in 12 to 14 hour days almost every day. Shasta, chance to save par from the drop zone. And you have to be careful here, because if you go past that basket, it's so easy to go out of bounds again. Not a concern for tee. Easy to be tentative here. Exactly as I was saying, with that OB directly behind the pin, the last thing you want to do is blow past it or not connect with metal. The OB is within 3, maybe 4 meters. And Shasta is going to put a bogey on the scorecard, so he'll fall back to 1 under through 3. Big shout out to our friends at Pulsate, doing tons of work out there to give you guys some incredible instructional videos. We're working on a code to make sure that you guys know you can go out and support them, and also get yourself all hooked up with the videos and instructions. They have their own app. It's awesome what they're doing, and big shout out to them for supporting what's going on here. This is a par 4. And that OB has been brought in a little tighter on the right side, and Japi's going to be out of bounds. You'd love to make it past that wall of trees that we just saw where tee was, because that gives you a really easy look to the pin to approach onto the island green as well. Now, this is an island green. You do not have to come to rest on it. If you fly past it and go deep, you take it as normal out of bounds from wherever it last was in bounds. So if you were to go deep on a second or third shot, you'd be able to take it from on the island. And even to this point, I know he's not past these trees, but this is good enough. As long as he doesn't hit anything. When he comes up short of the out of bounds, it looks like there's a OB path that runs straight across the fairway.
Slow down, slow down, slow down.
And some uncertainty, but ultimately he's going to be in bounds. Anywhere over on this left side, I feel like is a good spot to be in. That's going to put Shasta onto the island green with a look. Slow start here for Japi. That was his fourth. This is the only par 4 on the course. Long birdie attempt. Philo for birdie. And that's back-to-back on 3 and 4 where we've seen a light effort from Philo. Not quite high enough to put it in. And Japi will escape with a bogey. This hole really gives you an opportunity to go out of bounds in a number of places, but oftentimes you can save par unless you go out of bounds immediately and on that short right side like Japi did. Then it's almost impossible to save par. But everywhere else during a shot, if you were to go out of bounds, good chance to save your par. So Shasta bounces back with the birdie, immediately following the bogey on the previous hole. And we head to hole number 5. You have OB along the left-hand side. It always comes into play. Things can either just slide out or you can get a tree kick. That's the most common, is you hit a tree and that kicks hard left. And then that same stream wraps around the basket so you can go OB long. And then that's the same stream that they're throwing over on the next hole as well. Shasta needs that to get down, and it just barely slides over the left side OB wall. And it really doesn't get any prettier than that. I think one of my favorite shots throughout the last 5 or 6 years of being here is watching Philo go with a rock. Usually it's a pink rock, and throws that nice little turnover that just flattens and glides to the pin, just like he did there as we watched T go out of bounds.
Okay, good kick.
Like I said, it's pulled over to the right. Maybe too much turnover, but good kick for him. Good enough kick that he's got still a birdie look, although he's straddling, trying to go around the one tree, and he gets it. Wow, taking advantage. And Shasta all the way down here, so almost pin high, although he went out of bounds. And that's going to be 2 bogeys in 3 holes for Shasta. T goes back to even par. Philo with the park job. The tap-in birdie. So him and Shasta will swap, as Shasta will go to 1 under and Philo moves to 2. So this is the same stream I was just talking about. Now we're throwing over it. It's mandatory not only that you go left of one of the trees, but then also that you get over the water. If you don't, you go to the drop zone you just saw in that little patch on the left side. Very simple shot, 197 feet. I don't even know if it plays that far. Yeah.
Wow, that was bad.
Yes. No, zero thumbs up in all seriousness, but yes, that's what happens. You connect early. And even with a late tree hit like that, he's still going to have probably a circle 2, shallow circle 2 look, maybe even circle 1. Shasta relying on the forehand. Spoiler alert, I played this hole terribly in the 2025 MP40 edition here. It's still my favorite hole. I think this is my favorite hole on the course, which I know sounds silly. Well, there's only 11 to choose from, but oh, just off the rim. Barely short. I'll go some, maybe not shallow circle 2, more like the middle of circle 2. When he comes back and is able to clean up for the par. I think Shasta's rolling with just 4 discs. Might be 5. I know 2 of them at least are putters, maybe even 3 of them. Big shout outs to our friend over at Less Gravity. Make sure you go out and find some of their sick tunes. You can download them and get on board. Some disc golfers making music, being creative, doing all those great things as we head over to the 7th. That's the same stream that we were just talking about on the previous couple of holes that can come into play on anything short and right. That's heading deep and left, and that's going to be out of bounds. He's pin high. He's going to have a chance to save the par. And this looks wide. Does it have too much carry, though? And it does, just barely. You can see there's not a lot that they're putting on that. Japi, maybe a little nervous, throws it low. And Philo going with the lone backhand. I do love the backhand play. I feel like you can go with a backhand that starts off with Anheuser and then kind of just fades to the basket. Or you could put it a little straighter like we're seeing by Philo. He did start it off with some Annie, and then it just comes back right away. So more of a bullet line. I like kind of a sweeping Anheuser personally. So lots of options here, I guess, is the point. Shasta, a chance to save par. Count it. All right. He had a chance on 3. He had the chance on 5. Neither time he was able to capitalize. But he does so there. And T will do the same. So some solid putting making up for the errant tee shots. Philo will collect another birdie.
Yeah, paying the price for the team that's off so far.
Is that a special bag of dirt? Yeah, it is. It's dirt, sand, it all has to have just the right feel for our golfers. Can be a little bit humid, certainly here on Samui. As we head to hole 8, just 200 feet. It seems so simple because it really is. And then all of a sudden you just clip a tree you should have never hit. There's the high route.
Oh my God!
Not far from ringing it up. Shasta, much wider. Not quite as high, but seems to be effective.
No ace run.
No ace run, he says. late tree.
That thing deserves a hug and a kiss.
Yeah, but he's way too high.
Thinks he got away with one. T knew it right out of his hand. Not his best effort. Can Japi capitalize? Yes, he can. Little mini show off. We're not used to this many bogeys. I'll just say it. Obviously, they can pop up and catch you real quick with some of these OBs, but nobody really lighting it up at this point. 3 under through 8 is on the slower side. If you're looking at the pace of what you would expect from our top level pros, we know that every hole can be gotten, all 11. Certainly, we've seen that done, in fact. So it's not a matter of if, it's just a matter of, can you keep it clean? Three birdies by the card. Big shout out to Paron Disc Golf. We certainly appreciate the support. Make sure you check them out if you're in their area. Down there in Jacksonville, we had 233 feet. Hole number 9, very straightforward. The next 2 holes are literally and figuratively straightforward.
Oh boy, that was garbage. It worked out.
Well, he called it. Not a great shot, but it worked out. You like the forehand? Sure. Uh-huh. You've got forehand of various heights that you can go with. You've got backhand tight. You've got backhand kind of skipper or burner. I mean, there's just a lot of options here. Although you still have a few obstacles to deal with, still have plenty of ways to attack. Back-to-back birds coming from Shasta. Awkward stance there. See if it affects him, and it doesn't. And another one. T falling behind. Big shout out to First Light, who was graciously sponsored the brand new awning, the overhang back there on Tournament Central, which is built to last for many years. Dan, Robin, Boyd, the whole crew over there in Arizona, supporting Thailand Disc Golf, even though they haven't been here yet. I'm guessing they'll be here in 2026. Ten is a slightly easier version of 9. Runs parallel to it. Let's see if T can pick up a birdie here. He's been falling behind the group the last few holes. Oh, and Japi thought he had it. It looked good out of his hand. His putter has been pretty much on point today. Been the drives that have hurt him. That one's on the right side. It could have flopped in, but if you replay that back, it definitely could have stayed out, and that's exactly what happened. No. T. That was your closest one yet. You got to take advantage of those. And Shasta will be the first one to 5 out of this group. Just one hole left to play of the front 11. And I would say this is probably the second most difficult hole to get. Maybe I should look up some stats to see if I'm making any of this up. But it's a straight shot if you're a righty. You really want to come in right where that flag was for the foot golf and then have it take a skip or a flare hard left. I feel like those are your best. That's your best line. Well, or I could just say, yeah, pretty much exactly what Shasta did there. That will give him a look. Probably could use more flare, a little more skip. Philo, yeah, that's going to be the sneaky line. Not the intended line, but he missed an inside tree, found an inside gap, and is going to be parked. Yep, that looks good. Just a little deep, maybe. Okay, let's see what we have to work with. It's a rough day of putting so far here by T. We'll see if he can get things going in the back half. But so far, things are pretty slow. He's just 1 under through 11. I would say 4 or 5 is the bare minimum of where you want to be. Because if you're not shooting double digits in the open division, you're going to be pretty frustrated with yourself by the time you play 22 holes out here. Shasta gets to 6 through 11. And Philo will get to 5.
Lucky.
PDGA Asia doing big things, looking for a 2026 Southeast Asia Tour. It's in the works. So excited about what's to come. And we're going to go through this loop again. I think I'm going to switch up a few camera positions, give you guys a little bit different angle, but we'll play the exact same 11 holes all the way around again. Now I'm just behind the basket on 1. And just behind the basket is also now going to be Shasta. He hit the same tree with kind of the jump putt that he had during the first go-around. Okay, can we start the back half the same way we started the entire round? I think we had a star frame to open. Big thanks. You see Boat Bar, who's been an incredible sponsor for so many years here. Also the place of one of the most fun disc golf parties you'll go to, where you get some great food and some good beverages. But you see wraps on all 11 of the baskets. And although I'm not in charge of coordinating that sponsorship, our tournament director, Luke, is. I want to just say thank you to everyone that continues to support the course year-round along with the event. Through and through. I really appreciate it. Big thanks to our friends over at Pulse A as well. And we head to hole number 2. The danger on the left, right, and deep. And you may or may not have to deal with a little bit of traffic out here on one of our side roads on the island of Samui. Remember, Shasta was essentially parked and right next to the pin in round 1, or should I say earlier in the round. Who invited Madison and Erica? It's not going his way. T seems to be struggling, and if you're out of position here, you've got to really make something happen, and he almost does. Just off the rim. That 2 off the rim. Three very close attempts. And Philo just hanging back, waiting. And he's in for the birdie, so he will catch up to Shasta, who's 7 under through the 13 holes. And we head to the island green of hole number 14. That green is also a little faster than some of the other greens, and so speed control is so crucial. Lots of putters, lots of mids, of course, used on this course. And that's going to check up in time. Shasta had the bogey here first round. And that one's going to be safe. Local promoter rolling around throughout the island, blasting some news and information about possibly some of the Muay Thai fights or other things going on the island. And just squeaking it in. Shasta gets to 8 under. Tom out there getting the Philo shout out in. Probably going to hear some music performed by Tom and or Philo at some point throughout the weekend at one of the extracurriculars. Tom, an incredible musician and artist himself, also a teacher. Hooking up with our good friends over there at Pulse. As we head to the lone par 4, you want to get through here. Anything at this point and beyond, in my opinion, gives you a really easy look. There is the possibility of driving either all the way to the green or putting yourself just short of the island and then cashing in for an eagle too. That has been done. The legend of Greg has apparently accomplished that. I haven't seen it in competition yet, but most players just trying to do what Philo did. Get it out of the gap, pitch it up to the basket, walk away with an easy birdie. You cannot be short and right where the OB is. Great shot by Shasta. And that looks to be picture perfect. Simple standstill. Flirts with the backside, and he knows that he went long, but it looks like it's going to check up and stay in bounds. And it's pretty much textbook. Not much undulation, but it can be enough to be annoying. Get an extra few feet of roll away here. Philo seems to have found his groove. He's now 9 under through 15. Certainly picking up the pace. Enough to make you hold your breath for a second there, T.
Just found the finest dirt on the course.
Oh, yeah? Hey, when you find good dirt, when you find good dirt, you put it in a bag. You take it with you. And a huge shout out also to all my Patreon subscribers and supporters. This coverage literally wouldn't exist if I didn't have Patreon. I wouldn't be able to bring you this and other coverage from Southeast Asia. And then all the likes of Paron Disc Golf, along with Mulligan Hooligan, along Latitude 64, Less Gravity, Pulse Out, like everyone that's involved in any capacity. You guys are the only way that this coverage is truly made possible. And a big thanks to the PDGA through Marco Polo programming has also supported some of my efforts in Southeast Asia and beyond. So huge thank you to the PDGA. See, West Side Dynamic representation, Latitude 64, our presenting sponsor of the event. And Shasta, for the second time, is going to go out of bounds on the left side. Last time he was just short of saving the par. And Japi got a good tree kick during the first go around. This time, not so much. All right, so 2 out of bounds and 2 tree kicks. No one's loving hole 16 at the moment. Can he save the par? We'll give him a chance. One of the more difficult birdies to get. And a lot of work there. That's a safe par. Has to connect from circle 2. When he'll take it. Shasta a chance to save par. Well, it looks like almost the exact same spot. And this time it's left side chain. Hole 5/16 has had his number. Philo's able to cover up the mistake with a good par. Absolutely gorgeous weather. Of course, it's humid. We're in Southeast Asia, but just gorgeous weather. It's a Friday afternoon. We're going to have one round of 22 on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday, then a big old party on Sunday night. Kind of a staple here at the Samui Swine. All thanks to our godfather of in all of Thailand disc golf being one Nigel Mills. What a vision for us to be here and be part of it. As we head to hole 17. Just a nice little backhand turnover or easy forehand flick. The one place you don't want to go is deep. And I say that obviously you don't want to go short, and Philo's trying to fix the mistake he had in the first round. And that looked pretty good, even though he maybe had stepped in front of it. If you go deep or you go left, it's very, very wet. It's a really common collection spot in terms of the mud and the rain. So really more so of saving your shoes and maybe keeping a towel or two intact is why you don't want to go long and left. Looks like he got over. It was ugly, but he gets over and he is safe. Anything that misses the Mando or goes out of bounds and comes up short goes to the drop zone with penalty, and you could see he wasn't going from there. And Japi's over in that really mucky, wet, muddy area. Doesn't look too mad, though, to pick up the birdie. So Shasta's going to remain at 8 under. And T will go to 5 under. See if he can get something going. We know the last 4 or 5 holes, set up pretty easy with the exception of 22. Oh, twist of the foot there for Philo. Hopefully he's all right. Okay, the struggle's real a little bit. Philo gets to 10 under. Big thanks to our friends over at Paron Disc Golf out of Jacksonville, Florida. Jeff was on site. He said he's coming back. I can't imagine him missing it now. Usually once you get here, it's an incredible experience, but you love coming back. You love the idea of maybe going up to Chiang Mai, also going to some of the other neighboring countries, whether that's Malaysia or Cambodia or Singapore, all with budding disc golf scenes. Philo, almost a carbon copy of the last go. Is this deep? And the answer is yes, unfortunately. Can Vetne take a little off? Last time he went deep, this time short enough. shorter as well, making a correction from the first time. For a putter that's looked good, that was surprising. Kent's been out there running around, giving us some inbounds or out of bounds signals on many of the holes. Is he was out competing himself a little earlier in the day, playing in the MP50 division. MP50 this year, very sizable division. 24 MP50s for this year's event. MP40s, we had 17. And then on the FPO side during this weekend, I believe we had 6 or 7. Excuse me, we had 8 when it was all said and done. And Shasta comes up short on the putt. I feel like you could go back to last year and count on 2 fingers the amount of times his putter hit the ground well in a putting motion. So we know he's a solid putter. Surprised to see him miss that one. And more importantly, had a chance to keep up with Philo or stay even closer to him. Same high shot that we saw last time. Looks like it's going to be a similar result.
Again?
You hear him say again. You wonder how do you hit those? Well, it's funny because you're trying to put it up high enough just to play for this dump hyzer, and then all of a sudden you hang it out there. Oh, and T. Just like he had that look on hole number 2, 7 holes ago or so. And not enough for Japi. He'll remain at 8. Not on the mark. So through 19 out of the 22 holes, Philo's at 11. I think we've seen scores as hot as 16, 17, maybe even 18 under in the last few years for some of our hottest rounds, if that puts anything in perspective. And Japi's not going to make the comebacker. That's brutal. The FPO division, our leader after round 1 is going to be Katsuri Lugas out of Estonia. She is FP40 eligible. However, with no FP40s as a division here this weekend, we see a number of women just playing FPO. So she stepped up and she has opened with a 7 under effort through 22 holes. Big thanks to our friends over at Mulligan Hooligans. Appreciate the support. This is their 2nd year being on board with the video coverage, maybe even the 3rd. 20 and 21 running parallel to each other. 20 heads out. 21 will come right back. This one has a few more obstacles, but not by much. I think it's a carbon copy of last time, too. This low putter shot coming from Shasta. Play the forehand skip. And that's a putt. Can T connect from long range? Well, as we say, you may not have the best drive on in some of these holes, but you're often still putting, and that's exactly what Philo's able to capitalize on there with a good putt. Japi gets to 8. And Shasta at 9. Just 2 holes left to play. 249 feet. Left, right, doesn't matter. You got options. Either way, just a little putter shot here for Philo.
Squaring it up.
You really just got to miss that one tree. That's it. Just miss that tree. Philo's gotten 9 of the last 11. I love the shot. Just kind of has it pull left to right, just kind of fades down, drifts over. So Philo, a 4-time champ. Shasta, the reigning champ. We're going to have 44 holes left to play after 2 rounds. If you guys don't know already, even if you do, tell me in the comments, what are you looking for? Or are we gonna have someone else pop off? We've seen some incredible rounds by the likes of Tommy Lettinen and a number of others throughout the last few years. Evan Boucher has been up in the mix. It's been some great battles here, and we've proven anyone that can throw 250 or 300 feet has a chance to contend here. It's just a matter of, is the putter on? So let me know in the comments, or ask me any other questions that you might have, and I can answer it for you in the comments. Please like, share, subscribe, do all the YouTube things. Thank all the supporters that you see here on the video, whether it's the transition screens or if it's somebody that you're seeing on the basket wraps. This wouldn't be possible without all of you and the huge support that I get. I'm going to go way up the fairway, basically to where you're trying to get it to turn, and that's exactly what Philo's done. So any question about how Philo's going to close out this round, I think that's just been answered. Shasta have another one coming. A little too straight, but still circle's edge. That's a bit hot. He's almost closer to hole 1 spin than he is to hole number 11. Ugh, just nothing. Nothing going right for Vetne today. And that'll be a par finish for him, and he's looking at 7 under. We'll send from Japi. Shasta trying to close out. Can he get to 11? And just barely finds left side corner pocket. Shasta Criss, your defending champ, will ultimately walk away with 11 under on the 22-hole course. He had a few extra birdies in there, but those were negated by bogeys. And Shasta opens his title defense with an 11 under. Philo, however, 14 under. He started out slow and turned it on in the back half. And T, our Thai National on the feature card. He's in. Well, we're going to see a different Thai National tomorrow. That's, of course, Pichat, who shoots a 13 under. He'll be on the lead card with Philo and Shasta, along with Petri. We'll see you for round 2 of the 2025 Samui Swine Classic, presented by Latitude 64.